Hello and welcome to our coffee break. I'm here with Kate and I won't talk a lot. I think I will let Kate talk because you can't see me, I'm sorry. My webcam isn't working. Yeah, and I've got braces at the moment so I can't speak properly anyway. So I will let Kate introduce herself if you want to. Could you tell us a little bit about your background and how you got to where you are now?
Okay, well, thank you so much for having me. I've been loving following the Gig Economist and currently taking this call in a true work from home style, which is from bed. So I'm Kate, and I'm the founder of CloudPeeps, which is, I'll get to that journey later. But I started out doing born in England, like how far back do you want me to go? Yeah, and then I moved to Australia and I went to university and studied science, and I studied marketing, and really started to get interested in writing and editorial. And then with that, became a editorial assistant at a magazine, and then started working with a lot of magazines. And then while I was at that company, was responsible for a lot of online content of Marketing Mag, which is like the equivalent of, say, US's Ad Age. And then from there, I was promoted to digital director of the magazine publishing company. And then in 2010, I quit my job because I really wanted to go to Silicon Valley and learn more around tech startups. In that time, the Australian startup community was very, very small. And so then I started working with startups and then founded 2 companies and kind of been working on those ever since. Now I've lived in New York for 2 years, lived in San Francisco for on and off since 2011, and I'm currently in Melbourne.
Okay, and you said that the startup scene in Australia wasn't very big, and you wanted to work in work with startups, and then you created your own businesses as well. How did you decide to create your own business, or what made you venture for your own?
Yeah, definitely. So growing up, I wasn't really surrounded by like entrepreneurs. Like the only entrepreneur that I kind of knew was Richard Branson. Like there was no real entrepreneurs, I guess. Like there was a lot of small business owners, but in terms of like startups or entrepreneurs and that kind of thing, that wasn't really kind of stuff down my throat kind of thing. So I was consulting with startups, and I was really just interested. Like at that stage, I was like an early Twitter user and early Instagram user and early Airbnb, and really just loved technology. And then noticed that a lot of the companies the things that I loved were all coming out of San Francisco. So I think it was kind of led by this interest in the products and the people building those products that were changing the way that I live. So that kind of took me to San Francisco, and I was consulted with like a couple of different startups. One was Y Combinator back, and then a short stint working with the founders of YouTube on the publishing platform. And then the reason why I actually started my first company, which was The Fetch, was because no sort of stuff was going on around town. I was traveling to a lot of different cities. I was going to meetups. I was organizing a lot of events. There was almost too much stuff going on that I just wanted to put it in order and organize it. So The Fetch is an event discovery platform. And so I kind of just started it as a need to bring people together and help them find different events. And it was very organic. It wasn't like run a business for business sake. It was more like how can we help to my local community and to the local community and help them discover all these awesome events that I find are changing my life, and hopefully they can do that too. And so that was the transition. And I think a lot of people always think like, how do you make that first step? And for me, when I was working in consulting, I was saving up a buffer that was kind of almost like a travel fund. And I worked hard to kind of save up that travel fund. But that effectively became like my runway to take more risks. And then while I was building the Fetch, I was also working part-time still for the first year. And I think that's quite a common trajectory for people that start businesses. And I think you kind of hear a lot of stories about like, oh, they just started a business and overnight they went full-time and it was exploding and all of that. But I think taking it, like, you don't have to be completely, out there taking all the risks to start a business. You can kind of do it from a place of strength and, make sure that you can still live while you start a business. I think that's really important. So it's taking risks, but also making sure that you can be safe. So I think that's something that can make a huge difference when you are thinking about taking that first step.
Okay. And you mentioned that you wanted to help your community, and do you think it's very important to actually create a business that is helping people?
Well, it also depends on your motivations. Like my motivation, almost like when I say what I love doing, and it's very basic. It's like I keep coming back to, like, I love helping people. That might not be everyone's motivation. It sounds pretty obvious, but hopefully you're helping someone. And the very art of creating business or marketing something or anything, that is all about the concept of value. And so if you're creating value, like, even if you're the most capitalistic person in the world and you kind of don't care about users, but you might be creating something that is of value that they're happy to pay for or indirectly pay for by using the service. And I think that any contribution that helps people directly, even if the motivation is there or not, is brilliant, because it helps people, right? So I think it is important, though, to look at your value set and why you want to do something, because we talk a lot about failure, but I think we should also start to look at, like, well, what happens if it be, because these things, like, now I've been going at this for 7 or so years, and that's still the beginning almost. So you are looking at a huge lifelong commitment and certain sacrifices that you have to make when you start a business. So I think it's really important that you do it around your value sets and what really gets you out of bed in the morning and your mission.
I agree. Totally agree. And another word that keeps on coming up every time we speak, we spoke twice, is community. Community is a really big word for you. So what makes a community so important?
So I think community is really important because it helps bring people together and allows people to feel connected to other people. And if you think about the base level, like, psychology behind why humanity almost thrives, and you look at a lot of the studies about what is the biggest contributor of happiness, it's often down to the relationships that we have. And I've been like a long-term forum user. I used to contribute to forums in the early 2000s, and I always loved, like early eBay days and all that kind of stuff. So I love connecting with people online. And I know we're going to talk a bit more about, like, that introversion and extroversion spectrum, but I just found it fantastic that I could meet people globally that I might not even have around me in my proximity. I could form these relationships and really bond with people and just be inspired and stimulated and have this whole world opened up to me. And so community, just the art of connecting with people and building relationships and finding meaning in those is just, I think it's everywhere. And community can be really, really micro, like people have community in the sense of, even the families, the people around them, and it can be very, very large in scale, or a lot of the social networks. Sometimes when they talk about community, they think social media, but I think that it's been remarkable about how online communities have really transformed how we connect and form relationships in the last decade.
Yeah, absolutely. And now CloudPeeps is for freelancers, and the Gig Economist, we also target freelancers as well. So is networking important for freelancers? Because the freelancers usually have the image of somebody working from home, being very isolated and not going out or meeting anyone. So how important is networking for freelancers?
Well, I think it's very important, but I think the traditional notion of what networking is has changed. So I actually hate the word networking. Like people would always say, Kate, you're such a networker or a connector, and it was like never my, reason to kind of do that. I was like, no, I hate networking. But it's no longer this like very transactional, hey, here's my business card, what can you do type thing. I think that networking has changed, and it's a lot about connecting with people that you already kind of know, or you might be following online, or you're building your own online reputation. So I think it's really important that freelancers start to cultivate their own brand or their own online reputation, and they start to participate in different communities that they can not only receive from, but also give back to. And obviously that's where a lot of top clients come from, a referral network. So I think it's incredibly important, but I don't think it has to actually be geographically impacted anymore. I think that a lot of networking can happen online. And recently on Twitter, I did a poll to my audience and said, look, do you think it's more important to now network online or offline? This was in the concept, this was the construct of being a founder, and most people, it was very 50-50 almost. Like a lot of people saying like offline is still important, but you can do it online. And what I tend to think works with if you have got time, you can go to a bigger city, or you might live near a bigger metropolitan region, is to do some offline networking there, like getting back to you and I was talking about the meetups and people. I think that's important. Building that network and then focusing on retaining and nurturing that network online works well. But I do think in the future, in a not too distant future, that all relationship building and networking will happen online, and our offline, will be for our family and our friends, whatever we're going to do, won't go around professional networking as much.
Yeah. And when you're a business, you also want to find your community, because the community, they're going to be your potential customers. So as a business...
What were you saying?
Okay, no worries. When you're a business and you want to find your community, because your community are going to be your customers, how do you find your community? How can you reach them as a business?
Well, I think like the big groups are brilliant, because you're actually showing that many places now exist that have already curated these communities, right? So it doesn't actually... it's not as hard as it once was. There are many existing communities, and especially Facebook groups. So I think it's about testing out numerous groups and participating in those groups, and then finding out which are the ones that really resonate with you. But yeah, you definitely have to kind of just do some research, ask for referrals, chat to other freelancers, and find out where they are, and then and invest time in it. I think that there's a lot of people that join the groups but never participate, and you of course won't really get much out of it if you're not investing time in it.
And yeah, you already mentioned that we were going to talk about introversion, because I found on your CloudPeeps profile you mentioned a book which I have in front of me, and I would like to show it to you, but I can't, so I have to describe it. Yeah, it's Quiet by Stephen Kane. I think it's one of the greatest books I've ever read, because I wasn't aware that I'm an introvert. I didn't know, like, although I'm studying psychology, I didn't know about myself that I'm an introvert. And then I read the book and everything resonated with me. So I think it's one of the best books ever. And you also read it. Yeah. So, sorry. So do you think introverts actually have a chance in an extroverted working?
I think this is one of the most exciting kind of changes in how work works. I was similar to you in that I grew up in kind of an extroverted household. I didn't really know what extroversion and introversion was. I knew mine was really like that, but it never really kind of sunk in what I needed to do to kind of have personal fulfillment or management and all of that kind of stuff. And it can be quite, because confusing because I think you can get antisocial extroverts and social introverts, and I'm a social introvert, so I absolutely love people, but I also and I recharge my batteries by being alone. So I remember that when I did my master's in university, and I was kind of almost very reluctant to get into work because I thought work was going to be this, you know, not even 9 to 5, right? It becomes your whole life, and that you're commuting somewhere, you're spending all this time in meetings, it's kind of being like trapped. Like I was like, I've got to make sure I do all the things I want to do, because when I start working, I'm going to like be able to have my life. So I was like, oh, I finish university, like that's it, right? I'm like going to the jail. It's very, very dramatic. But what's happened is effectively with remote work and online communication tools like Slack is that it opens it up to allowing different people to work wherever and however they want. So if you're being a fruit owl and you don't want to get to an office for 8 a.m. in the morning, you can now. If you want to focus on your written communication to ideate and get your point of view across, you can do that. You articulate yourself in a different way. It's not necessarily about being the loudest in a room. You know, if you want to focus on your family and drop kids up from school, you can now do that. Like, I just think everything has changed. And people often ask me about, you know, well, how can you trust remote workers and all these other questions that come out of remote work. But I just think with the level of online tools and task management and all of these things that we now use to collaborate, it's really impossible to hide when you're not actually working. And I think we've become a lot more focused on productivity and a lot smarter with our work. And I am extremely excited by that. And gone are the days when I think, oh, I'm going to have to waste all this time sitting in the office, which isn't, you know, watching people have like long lunches or make toast for hours in the morning. Like that's gone, right? Like it's just about output and relationship management and all these things.
Yeah. And you already mentioned technology and that it might help introverts to play to their strengths. What else do you think? Because for me personally, I used to work in call center, by the way, which is completely not what I'm usually comfortable to do. And I really found like after 8 hours when I got home, I didn't want to talk to anyone for a couple of hours. I didn't want to see anyone. I didn't want to talk to anyone. It was really, really horrible. But now that I'm working from home, I find that I'm using emails a lot more. I'm communicating and writing a lot more. And I can, but even then, I sometimes feel like I want to call somebody and talk to somebody. So how how do you find your own strengths as an introvert, and how can you really make them work for you?
Well, it's kind of funny because recently I realized that I was doing a lot of meetups, meeting people and coffee catch-ups, and I feel like I've never become yet a master at my own schedule and allowing blocking off for creativity. So last couple of years as a CEO, it's been very much operations, people management, scaling, investor relations, all these things. And I think we need to be very, very mindful of how we do our days and our weeks. And for me, the more that I help carve out my schedule for the downtime and creative time, the more that I do feel social. So, and also creating clear boundaries makes a massive difference. So when I do my first company, I just work all hours, all weekend. There was really no off time. And time again, I relearned that the more that you take off time, like true digital detox, and not thinking about work or working, the more that you come back fresh and with more clarity to your actual work. So that's been something that really kind of make sure with CloudPeeps that you don't work as many weekends, or you know, have the evenings off. And that's what I encourage my team as well. I have like a no after hour or email policy. And if I got emails at, like 3 a.m., I don't see that as someone, unless they're on a different time zone, but I don't see that as someone crushing it and working hard. I see that as someone who, needs to actually change their whole life if they're sending emails at, 1 a.m. It's not a sign of strength or, pride. No, you need to stop emailing at 3 hours.
Yeah, absolutely. And from one introvert to another, how can we support each other? Because I think we still, because extroversion in our society at least, it's the common thing, and we assume that other people can behave like an extrovert, which we all can, but it's not natural sometimes. So how do you think we can support each other?
Yeah, I think having one-on-ones is so important. So we've spoken about community and online networks and all of that. I think for me, I really find a good one-on-one with someone where you can really be vulnerable or present is so important. So obviously, introversion is quality, the social time that you get, and I think that we can be a lot more supportive of each other made an effort to connect one-on-one. And especially if we're in different countries, continents like we are now, making time to have like a Skype date or an accountability partner, or setting up a recurring meeting to catch up, like keeps people, I think, keeps the appointment there, and then makes sharing a lot more easy. Because I know when I find if it goes too long or if so much happens, it's hard to kind of catch someone up. But I think if you make that socializing like a habit or a practice, you can get a lot better at it than but you have to kind of, it's like an exercise, right? Like you keep it up, and I think that can kind of contribute so much to positive mental health. And so I think it's really like about making sure that we actually have that interaction. That interaction doesn't necessarily have to be other than just a quick. The other thing that I really like doing connecting with people around activities. So if you like going for walks, instead of feeling like, we're going to catch up and we're going to do dinners and drinks and or it's going to take half my day doing this thing, or going into a big group party, like all those kind of things I sometimes find a bit exhausting. But if you kind of like going for a walk, or if you wanted to go read a book together, there's a thing called the Silent Book Club, where you can actually meet a lot of people but still read your book by yourself. So
sounds amazing.
Yeah, it's really good. It's in like 100 cities or something ridiculous now. So obviously there's a lot of people out there that want to next week, but still have less space.
Oh, sounds great. Yeah, I should start it here. We don't have that.
Yeah, because it's if it starts with a couple of people, like each chapter then grows and grows, and then they might then take it in like a hotel lobby or something. They look side by side.
Yeah, I think 1 second I will write it down and study. Something else you really like, and myself, I really, really love to travel as well. I think you've been to more places than I ever have. But so if you have to recommend a place for relaxing, or country, or something.
Oh yeah, well, Bali. I think you go to Bali. Bali's become a bit of a hotspot for nomads and remote workers, and people go on yoga retreats and things like that. So I think Bali's fantastic. But I think you can find really great places wherever you are in the world. Obviously, there are some reasons in certain times, but I do think there are places that you can go in the countryside, especially when you get out of cities and find that nice. There's also the site Nomad List that you can check out that will have things like Wi-Fi. It's got like a Nomad score for how livable and workable the place is. And that's really helpful, because even in places like Bali, I went out for the first time, and the Wi-Fi has come on since then. But that's kind of way limited if you are a freelancer. You've got to make sure that you can still be connected. But there are a lot of places to go. So I like going off the beaten path a bit, or not going to the cities that everyone goes, like you must go here, you must go there. I can kind of find that. And there's a coffee shop everywhere now. You can get everything you need. So the other thing that I forgot to mention before about connecting, which I think is helpful, is obviously the Freelance Friday community is worth checking out, because that's in different cities where freelancers will get together and share. They'll co-work together and also share stories. So if you're looking to connect with like-minded people, online and offline, Freelance Friday is great for that.
Okay, that's good. And I had a question. Now it's gone. About traveling as a freelancer. Come on. Okay, yeah, when you travel as a freelancer, because like a digital nomad, I think a lot of people. Well, okay, I've been moving around a lot for the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like I have a home anymore, so I just live wherever I live. And I think some people are okay with it. Some people are really like nomads. They don't need a place they can call their home. But other people like myself, now I want to have a home again. I want to have like one place I can call my home, and it's mine. And I think so. Do you think it's possible to have a home and at the same time travel? Is that like financially or even in your mind, or do you get exhausted?
Well, I think I've done it in a few different ways, because for 2 years, 2011, 2012, I was a full nomad. So I literally didn't even have a key. Like I had a bike lock on my old bike. And I lived off Airbnb for 2 years and put like a bit of stuff in storage, but it was very much on the go. And then I found like the challenges of being a full-time nomad is that you feel isolated. I was traveling with my then boyfriend, now husband, so I was very lucky in that. I always had someone around me. I think it can actually be very isolating and also bad. Like if you don't spend time with significant things, it can be quite disorientating or not very good for routine. So one of the things I think it's really important for freelancers is to, when we talk about boundaries and schedules, to also keep a routine and create as many, much structure while you can, because I think then you can allow your creativity to flow and your work to flow once you have the structure. So obviously nomadism is great for that. And you also spend a lot of time as a nomad, basically just in an uncomfortable state where you're just trying to get back up to, where am I staying? Where's the doctor? Like, what's my surroundings like? Where, when I move to a new place, where am I going to sleep? Like all of those things are great challenges, but they also mean that you kind of drop the output or the level of your work. And that's one of the reasons why people even, travel in the first place, is they want to stimulate and grow themselves in different ways. And then I went like full on sedentary and had like four years of playing house and having the same apartments and spending time there. And one of the apartments was good because I could travel a little bit and Airbnb, so financially it could work out. But recently, when I had the place in San Francisco, which was becoming quickly the most expensive place in the world almost, it wouldn't make sense to even leave the apartment for shorter trips or going on trips because of the cost of maintaining an apartment. And now I'm interested again in going on the road and spending a lot more time out of the kind of the set structure of a set place. And so I think it can go both ways. Like you might be a full nomad and then go back on the grid for a few years, and then you might go. The other thing that I think is really important, often doesn't get come into the conversation with nomads, because a lot of nomads tend to skew millennial age and create families. But I do think it is really hard to start a family or create more of a structure for children and be a nomad. And I know there are a couple of different websites that will talk about like nomad families and all that kind of stuff, but that's something for me that I just wouldn't be very. I think it would just add way too much to what is already a challenge, like way too many extra things and factors that you probably don't want to consider. So I would love to see more content that freelancers of all ages, and nomads for all ages, and not just the kind of single guy who's got one backpack, who's developer and got the discretion to come to do whatever and go wherever. I think that's a very kind of small subset of what the bigger, future of work could be about.
Yeah. Yeah. And when you settled down after traveling, was it difficult? I can imagine it's really difficult.
I think it's difficult because I feel like you have to decide which way you want to go in the world. I think if you're going if you're going the freelance pathway, you're already kind of questioning the status quo. You're seeking different things, but you might be seeking more time or freedom. Mm-hmm. And then I think, if you're going true nomad, it's almost like you're following the minimalism movement, or you're just reevaluating how you want to live. And I think switching back on kind of more, I'm going to buy a couch and I'm going to spend my time shopping, or you kind of go back to the default world, or you start earning your money and spending money and for things. And I think it was difficult in that respect. It's the balancing of the two. But I mean, it's actually harder, I think, to go nomad than it's back and settle down. Once you're in a transformation time, you can start building networks again and meeting up with friends and having that support network around you. And I think that's really key. I think going back to the first thing, the challenge of nomadism is that you often can feel really isolated. I see this with all my nomad friends, and no one knows where they are ever. So you get invited to events, you catch up with people when you're not in the country, and then you leave the country, and then so it's completely disorienting and isolating. Going to the one place is actually quite good. And it's quite funny because if you think about when people used to move cities before, they would speak out 6 to 24 months to really settle into a place, and now we think about digital nomadism, and you've got 2 weeks to really make it your home.
Yeah. But does it get easier every time you go to a new place? Does it get easier? Do you find yourself?
Yeah, I think it does get easier. I mean, everything kind of always gets easier. I think you get to go. Even the first time I quit my job, that was a huge thing. And I always have empathy when people go through that stage and they'll quit their job and they're like, I'm taking that risk. I don't know where my paycheck's coming from. But now it's like the level of, if you go on book somewhere you've never been or whim, it totally gets easier. And I think the biggest thing, judging from traveling now, when I kind of was traveling before very short, mobile, that was where I didn't have Lonely Planet books. When you get somewhere, you don't know if you're going to have any form of communication. You have to plan out how to get to hospital, all those things. It's just now in the palm of your hand in 2 seconds. It's really easy to get anything you want in any place, even language translators. Travel is just significant, and it's a lot more affordable as well now. Just because of the sharing economy and all the things going on. So landing in many new places isn't as easy as it once was.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's everything I wanted to talk about. Do you have anything you want to mention, you want to talk about?
No, it's a shame. We can't do Q&A, can we? Are there any other questions that might come from the
sorry. So I will add some links to, you mentioned Freelance Friday before. I will add the link there later on. And also to the book Quiet, which I think it's fantastic. Do you have any other books maybe you can recommend?
I think the book, obviously Remote, a quintessential read. I've been loving ebooks like The Untethered Soul. What are the books? I think obviously anything by Brené Brown.
Okay.
The skill book there, great. I've actually got a huge list of books I actually put them in a spreadsheet. I mean, I could use Goodreads and all that kind of stuff, but I love the books. I've been doing a lot of, speaking of your degree psychology, I've also been reading a lot of psychology books and How to Coach the Recommended books like Boundaries, which they're kind of like really good old school books, but if kind of looking at how to change yourself or self-transformation, some of the books like that are really fantastic. So yeah, always happy to give any more recommendations if you have them anytime and chime in.
Do you, because I think when you like books and somebody asks you, what's your favorite book? That's always like trying to pick what's your favorite child. Something like this. I mean,
well, no, it's true. And also, I'm kind of not one of those people that tries to, it's like music taste. Like, I'm so varied with my book taste and my music taste and all of that, that I feel like so many people are about proving that they're very well read, or you've got to kind of come up with a most amazing book, to say. I don't know, I just like all different types of things. So, I probably couldn't say my favorite book of all time.
Yeah, honestly. But one book, because of psychology books, but it's more like it's like a funny book. It's the Psychopath Test. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Oh God, I should take this.
But it's actually it's so funny, and it's educational at the same time, because it's about how do you, but yeah, it basically is what it says. It's how do you test whether somebody is a psychopath or not. And so he goes on a journey, and he has like it's John Ronson is the author, and he has like a weekend training or something to actually apply the test, and then he goes outside, and then he applies the test to several people he meets on the street, more or less. And he also gives like a background how we came up with psychopaths, how we actually started to understand what it's all about. So it sounds really radical and it sounds really extreme, psychopaths, but it's so funny. It's the first book I read that made me laugh, to be honest.
That's a really good book, because the other thing that I've noticed since the days of social, and even with some of the political sphere that we have right now, is the rise of narcissism. And I think we need to go back to basics, look at these tests and psychological definitions, because I just think it's right. I think that the more that we are pointing cameras at ourselves, articulating our lives, like broadcasting what we do to people, like we're celebrities, it's changing the way we think of ourselves. I think that we need more knowledge to do with that.
Yeah, and also technology, or YouTube, or Twitter, or Instagram. I think Instagram is more like it. People are presenting themselves more. I mean, probably you might be a little bit too old to have experienced it very extreme, but the next generation, I think they're really growing up with presenting themselves to the world.
Well, the whole thing, right? Like, it's like making sure everything's perfect, and that you're like presented a certain way, and that you've got the right things, and drinking the right coffee. Like, it's a very crafted and creative experience. And I think that, one of the things I enjoyed about my childhood is that I had that space and that privacy and that time to just do whatever and evolve. And I think of kids having their whole trail of existence documented online. It's going to be hard to wipe that.
Yeah.
If you wanted to.
Yeah. And the other thing, I guess, is really dangerous, because you think you have to be like that, and I think it's not very human, because human is when you allow yourself to be not perfect.
Yeah. And also, like, having the right to vocalize and be yourself online how you want. And you see a lot of kids, babies, right? Like the parents are making the choice for the baby and broadcast online. So one of my friends actually has never put her baby online ever. And I think that's quite incredible, because it means that that kid has its own ability to out themselves, or to be online when they want to be online, and everyone else is basically live streaming their kids to the world. And I just think that's like a bit of a, if I was a person, like, I'd want the right to my own privacy. I'm a personal course, but like, you know, if you're growing up, I'd want to write them in privacy.
Uh, That's a perfect topic to stop our YouTube live stream. We're streaming to the world, but talking about how bad it is to stream to the world.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
No, but it's about business, and it's about getting to know people who do something that is a little bit unusual for now. I think it's not going to be unusual in the future. I hope so, because I think what you did is incredible. Your companies are great. It's really, really helpful. And CloudPeeps especially, because that's what I have more knowledge about. I think it's an amazing website. I think it's well done. It's a really good design, and the community aspect as well. It's really helpful.
Yeah,
and that's amazing. Yeah.
Thank you very much. I'm totally motivated by, as we know, helping people. So when it get good feedback, I'm like, keep going. This is great.
Please do. And don't listen to anybody who gives you bad feedback, because they don't know anything. No. I mean,
I'll take it on board and I'll make the changes if necessary. But yeah, it won't stop.
No, of course, yeah. Sometimes feedback's definitely valid, and yeah, but also no, it's really good. It's really great. I think you're doing a fantastic job. By the way.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Would you like anything to add? Or?
No, I just want to say thank you very, very much for having me, and I'm really excited about where the Gig Economist goes, and happy to support wherever I can. And if anyone has a question or I can help out in any way, feel free to tweet me, or hopefully the links will be shared or anything like that. I'm always happy to lend an ear.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thanks. Bye.
Thank you. Bye. See you.